So here's the real question. How do dentists like you, who aren't willing to let insurance dictate how you will run your practice, who want to create incredibly profitable practices without sacrificing your time or sanity, how do you create the strategies to ensure your practice not only survives, but thrives in the 21st century? That's the blaring question, and Dr. Steve Schlintz is here to provide the answers. Welcome to Dental Practice Freedom Radio.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Dr. Steve Schlintz, and I want to welcome you back to another episode of Dental Practice Freedom Radio. And I lied about the last time that I talked about doing a video podcast, because this is kind of an impromptu podcast it was a question that was posed to me, and I said, that'd be a really good episode for a podcast. It might be a little bit heavy and a little bit dense, so I'm going to be able to touch on it without necessarily completely overwhelming you, because there's, we do a 6-month coaching program based on what I'm going to talk about today. But the question was asked on my Sales and Mindset Mastery Facebook group, and there's a link in the bio if you guys are listening to this but have no idea about this sales group that I have. I encourage you to join it, trying to give as much value as humanly possible in the sales and mindset arena, so that might be able to help you. And one of the things that was asked was, we talked about how the how wasn't important on doing big things. And the question was posed, isn't the how the roadmap to get what it is that you're looking for? And I was like, man, that's a great question, because that's a common question that's asked, but it's so important to understand why the how is not actually important. In order to do that, we have to first go back to the 3 main types of goals that I learned how to categorize goals through Bob Proctor. And really it breaks down into an A and a B and a C type goal. An A goal is a goal you already know how to do. So that's technically not even a goal, because a goal is meant to help you develop, to grow, to pull something out of you that wasn't there before. An A goal is, I've rented an apartment and I want a new apartment, and it's about the same price range and same town. I'm going to go from this apartment to this apartment. You already know how to do that. That's not even a goal. That's the A type goal that some people set. Now, a lot of people, if they don't set A type goals, they set B type goals. These are goals they think they can do. And these are the types of goals that typically we try to plan for, right? If this worked and this worked and this worked, then I'd hit this goal. Working with dentists, it's a very common thing, right? They go, well, I want to increase my profit by 5% this year. And I think I can do that by dropping this plan, by doing this, by raising my fees here, and I'd be able to hit my profit. Those goals don't inspire anyone. And those goals are usually a cop-out, to be honest. Now, C goals, these are true wants and desires, like what people really want, the goals that really drive them and motivate them. This might be, I want to increase my practice production by 200%, right? I want to double my practice production or profit, right? Maybe I want to live on a beach. Maybe I want to take 6 months out of the year on vacation. These are true C-type goals. And the important thing is you can't have the belief system you currently have to accomplish these C-type goals. And that's why the how is not important, right? So the first thing you have to do is actually make a committed decision that you're going to do whatever it is you want to do. The C goal that you have, you say, I'm doing this. I have no idea how I'm going to do this. I just know I'm going to do it. You have to fall in love with that committed decision. And the second you do that, you flip your frequency, your thought frequency starts to change, and you start to look for ways that this can be accomplished that you didn't even see before, right? If you rely on the how first, you have to understand that we all have a paradigm. We all have a belief system, an operating system that dictates the results we get in our life. So if you start focusing on the how right away, well, how would I do that? but you don't have you're not changing your paradigm, you're not changing your belief system, you're never going to be able to find the way, because you don't have the conscious awareness yet to get the goal that you're shooting for. So if you said, I am at $200,000 a year in income and I want to make $1 million, right? Now, you're not making $200,000 a year because you want to make $200,000 a year. You're making $200,000 a year because you're not aware of how to make $1 million a year on the same workload or less, right? You might say, well, I don't want to work anymore to make $1 million. I know people that are making $1 million a year, they don't work at all. So you have to understand that, like, if you started focusing on the how and you wanted to make $1 million, the reality is you probably aren't consciously aware of the how right now. So by focusing on the how, it's a wasted attempt. It's not going to work. Your first job is actually to make a decision. Let's say that you wanted $1 million a year. I'm making the decision. I'm making $1 million a year. And here are the parameters that I'm going to work from. And this is going to happen. And then what I talked about is some of the other stuff. Usually what you do is you go find a mentor who's doing what it is you want to be doing, and you go follow and listen to exactly what that person's telling you to do until you either find out they're lying to you or they don't know what they're talking about. Now, most mentors, great mentors who are doing what you want to be doing, are usually very transparent. They don't lie, and they probably give you great advice on how to accomplish what it is you're trying to accomplish. Now, it's your responsibility as the person, once you get mentored by that, do I listen to this person? Or are my belief systems so strongly set in one way that I can't even listen to what it is they're telling me, right? Sometimes your mind can be so closed to ideas that there's just no way something new is going to get in that's going to change your life. So that's why I focus, on most of my coaching, whether it's with dentist or non-dentist, it's focused on paradigms and changing paradigms, because your paradigm is getting you the result that you're getting. So simply focusing on the how with the same paradigm that you have before is probably not going to get you the result that you want. Now, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be taking action steps. I try to keep this ridiculously simple. Like, if I know that there's a goal that I'm shooting for, like I'm working on a goal right now to get back into Bob Proctor's Inner Circle as a consultant, because I just love that group and I want to be back in that circle. And I've been working on my own projects and programs and things like that, but I just miss facilitating that material. So I made a decision that I'm going to be back in the Inner Circle. And then I know there's certain things that I should be doing on a daily basis to help me get there. That's not necessarily a how activity. I haven't planned it all out yet. I've left some room for wiggle room. The how is not, I heard a quote once and it was so good. It said, the how is not your responsibility. That's the universe's responsibility. Your responsibility is making the decision on what you want. And I've seen this happen so much. So I wanted to use a personal story that I talked about on the last podcast episode, but it goes exactly to why the decision is more important than the how. So I had a client that wanted to work with me in thinking in results. And she said, I know I love your stuff. I think it's so valuable. I want to work with you. I know every time I get off the phone with you, I make more money, which is always a good thing to have. And she said, I had to make a decision that I wanted to work with you. We didn't even talk about the numbers. I didn't even talk about price with her. She just knew that she wanted to work with me. So she said, I want to work with you. I'm making a decision to work with you. And she said, I knew that I'd probably have to get, 2 or 3 clients to work with you. So I made the decision, I'm going to work with you. And in order to do that, I need some clients, and I need some clients in the next week. That was the how, the broad picture how, right? So she made the decision first, and then the how was she's going to get clients. That was the how. She didn't know exactly how she was going to get the clients. She just knew, I'm making a decision. This is what we're going to do. And she just let it go to her subconscious. She let her subconscious mind do the work. And she pops up with an idea. She said, oh my gosh, I have this email list that I didn't even remember, and I'm going to send out an email to the same email list that I haven't talked to in a year. And she sends it out to this email list, 3 paid clients, has all the money to do the program. 1 email, 3 calls. She said, I closed all the clients and we're rolling. That's so powerful, guys and girls. I hope you understand the power of that. Stop focusing on the how for everything. Where am I going to get the money? How am I going to do this? How am I going to get the time? For me with the dentist, it's how am I going to get the time? Listen, if you spent 40 minutes a day on yourself, really understanding how you operate as a human being, do you not think you're going to make that 40 minutes up throughout the day? I was just talking to my mastermind group, and I said, if you spend an hour planning every day, I can guarantee you're going to save at least an additional hour through that day, and you're going to be much more productive doing it. It's so true, right? The money. You don't need the money to work with me unless you made a decision to work with me. What do you need the money for, right? Like there's got to be something that you're really shooting for that you go, oh my gosh, I really want to accomplish this. That's what I coach. That's what I teach. So like you have to make a decision before you start focusing on the how. Okay. There's some really good resources for you guys that go deeper into this. But again, try to keep it simple. Try to keep it simple. There's so much information out there about, motivational quotes and this and that. And really, you guys have to understand how your operating system is, your belief system, the results you're getting, and simple ways that you can change the belief system to get a result that you want. So I will leave you with this resource. It's Joe Dispenza, How to Break the Habit of Being Yourself. Joe Dispenza talks a lot about this idea of making a decision and a result first, and then letting a higher power at B determine your how. He goes deep into quantum mechanics, and some true scientists are like, well, this isn't true, and blah 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 blah. But listen, I've seen it now enough. I've studied hard sciences for a lot of years, and quantum mechanics and space and time and energy. These are like subjects I absolutely love. If people ask me like, what do you read if you're not reading to like get better at what you do? It's that. I was reading quantum mechanic books at like 11th grade and 10th grade, and people thought I was kind of a weirdo. But I just loved the subject. I loved it. And Joe Dispenza's work is really, really good. You have to understand that this how thing, we think it's a roadmap. It's not. It actually limits our ability to think creatively about situations. So what you do is you basically make a decision on what you want. You open yourself up to all the possibilities. Your number one job is to raise your conscious level of awareness. The more aware you become of you, your surroundings, what's going on, the more solutions are going to pop in your head. That's how it works. And then you can pick any one of them and say, you know what, that's probably going to work. And then go shoot for it. So that how limits our creativity. That how limits our imagination. Because the second we start focusing on a how, we use our existing belief system to craft the possible solution. And my guess is that existing belief system is not going to allow you to get to what it is you truly want. You need to make the decision, and then you need to start to change your belief system, your self-image, the things around you, all of that stuff. That will produce a different result for you. So hopefully you got value out of this. And thank you so much for listening. Love if you could leave a review, a rating, keep asking questions. Some of these podcast episodes I kind of plan out. This one was more of a response to a question, and so it's probably a little bit more rambly, but hopefully you got some good value out of this. And next time you see me, I probably will be doing video podcasts. So you'll get to see my ugly mug for these podcast episodes. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you at the next episode.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode on Dental Practice Freedom Radio with Dr. Steve Schlintz. We'll see you on the next episode.